Promise.
John and I are working on our timing, but we forgot to adjust the camera. Welcome. It's a great day to be a Rotarian. Imagine what we can do together. Imagine our club as a fun and kind place to be. It's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you'll pause for our invocation, we give thanks for this food and fellowship. May Rotary friends and Rotary ways help us serve others all of our days. Amen. We have a couple of guests today. First, I'd like Monique Bopat to stand. Monique is waiting for us to approve her at the board level, which is going to happen soon. Stan Martindale has a special guest with him today.
This is my oldest daughter, Taylor. She's visited before. We've visited quite a while. She's a nurse practitioner in the Denver area and visiting for a weekend wedding.
And our other guest that I'm aware of is a gentleman that I met some 40 years ago. And I think we've been friends, but we've been out of contact for quite a while. Don Hill is a Rotarian from Emporia. Don, stand up and say hi to everybody. If you want a long, boring story about old friends, come see us after the. So I realized on the drive in this morning that I'd forgotten to update my script for Cup Money. Cup Money, we are now in September. And the September Cup Money is for the Be Filled program of South Topeka for their common room supplies. So dig deep and put your money in the cup. Frank Henderson stopped me after the meeting last week and thanked me and told me how important our effort for the Logan School was, that was very much appreciated. The district conference is coming up at the Hyatt Place in Lenexa. I believe Vince, Lanessa, and I are signed up. I don't know if anyone else is. Lee and Susan are signed up. I saw their hands just go up. So we're going to have a good contingent there. You can still go to District 5710 and sign up for that. Roger Eshelman is forming a Polio Plus team that will include a Pints for Polio event. Filled, I'm sure, with a delicious golden beverage of local sourcing. So Roger's number 785-267-8782, or you can stay right after today's meeting. There's going to be a 15-minute organizational meeting for the polio project. Congratulations to Marie Pico, our library CEO. The KPR Queen's Gambit On-Air Book Club of May 2021 won first place in the Kansas Association of Broadcasters Multimedia Digital Category Medium Market Radio. Maybe I could have worked on cutting that down a little bit. Anybody have fun bucks today? Fun bucks go to support the club. Announcement of a personal or organizational nature. I don't see any. We have received an application from Sean Sullivan of Midland Care, who's sponsored by Zach Arns. I'm announcing his name for our 10-day comment period. And we have a board meeting in just over a week to get we have 3 new members on the line. Marie, did you want to come up and make an announcement? while she's coming up, we're building momentum as a service club. The zoo is looking for volunteers to help string zoo lights on Friday mornings until November. Fawn Mosier is the zoo contact for that. We have been invited to help Kansas River Keepers, the Evergy Green Team, and Backcountry Hunters and Anglers with a sandbar cleanup downriver from the Seward Boat Ramp on October 15th. Access is going to be from the cellophane plant, and we're going to have a Rotary table, booth, tent, barbecue. We're going to be serving lunch. Thanks to David Beck, we already have some condiments and 38 hot dogs in the freezer. So, great.
So to wrap up the district grants we had for my year, I am getting ready to do some shopping for some of the students, which I mentioned several times during the summer. I have finally gotten the lists of the greatest needs for the schools, and I'm looking for a couple of people who would like to come with me and shop and spend some money. So this will be for elementary schools, for some of the middle schools, but then some dress attire for the high schools as well. Some of the need there was having to do with TCALC and some of those students who are preparing to apply for jobs or go on to college. And so I am looking for a couple of people who would be willing to go with me and shop at Kohl's or at Walmart, because we'll need to buy some stuff in bulk. And again, I will have our debit card, so it won't cost you any money because we've already contributed, but I would love the support. I will, if you are interested, please reach out to me at my work email, which is mpico@tscpl.org, or stop me after the meeting and we'll work something out. So it'll just be 1 or 2 times that we'll go. But it's exciting to be able to have this opportunity. And then the next step will be getting the stuff to the schools. But we got to get the stuff first. Thanks.
That is closing out our district grant money from last year. Our application for this year's money just went in to the district, so we'll hopefully hear from them soon about our service projects funding for this coming year. And so our speaker will be introduced by our own Larry Dimmick.
Thank you, President Steve. I'm very honored really today to introduce our guest. The individual who will be presenting is a longtime friend of mine. We were students at K-State during the last century. I won't say when. And we happen to have been in the K-State Men's Glee Club. And neither one of us know much about music, but I found out in talking to our members, our own Roger Eshelman was also a member of the K-State Glee Club during a different period. Again, many years ago. But anyway, Keith Hooper, our speaker, is a native Kansan, and he grew up on a farm in Smith County, Kansas, and graduated with two degrees from Kansas State University. Thereafter, he was a volunteer for the Peace Corps, where he taught in the Philippines. He taught physics, chemistry, and biology, and engaged in community development projects while he was there. And I believe while he was there, he met his wife, his future wife, Paterna, who we call Pat. And Pat and Keith have worked in many areas of charitable activities. They, for example, they work with lepers for a period of time. And for another period of time, they organized Special Olympics and provided funding for the education of the less fortunate in the Philippines. And he formalized his charitable work in 2004 by establishing the HELP Foundation. And HELP is HELP, which stands for Humanitarian Efforts to Lessen Poverty, especially in the Philippines. Keith and his wife spend 6 months a year in the Philippines. And the other 6 months, they live right here in Topeka in their home in our town. And obviously, they spend a lot of time engaging in activities in the Philippines, supporting especially the young people over there. Some of the things they support, for example, they support primary and secondary education for over 275 students, provide college scholarships to 60 some scholars. And some of the projects that HELP engages include a swine, goat, and rabbit production operation, which produces over 250 offspring for the poor folks in the Philippines to use. Another thing that the HELP Foundation does is they operate a microbank, which loans money to over 700 women. And these women borrow from the bank over $25,000 monthly, which is an amazing activity in enabling them to engage in activities to promote their small businesses and to help their families. Keith has been a Rotarian for over 26 years, and he is the past district governor for the district just west of here. And he is a major donor to the Rotary Foundation, and he has earned many awards because of his charitable activities. And he certainly is a loyal and very faithful Rotarian. He and his wife have several children, and they and their spouses are also active in the HELP Foundation. So it gives me a great pleasure today to introduce our speaker, originally from Smith Center, now from Topeka, and half the time from the Philippines, Keith Hooper. Keith.
Well, I asked Steve, I said, how much time do I have? And he said, you take as much time as you want. And I said, that's great. Then he said, we all leave at 1 o'clock. So anyway, thank you, Larry, for the long introduction. Not well deserved, but I appreciate that. And I can tell you a bunch of stories about Larry too, but I refuse to do that. Don Hill is my cousin.
Keith, can I get you to come over?
Oh, certainly. I could talk louder. I didn't wear my hearing. Can you hear me now? Oh, everybody can hear me. Okay. Don and I grew up together in Smith Center, and one reason I started the foundation was when his father passed away. Don gave me some seed money to start this foundation. It wasn't for the foundation, and because I was working there in the Philippines well before the foundation. But so I took that money plus some others and started the HELP Foundation. And it has grown from a mom and pop organization to a fairly large organization. We have, over the past 18 years, we have provided over $1.75 million to the Philippines, and that's through Rotary and individual donors. So I want to tell you a little bit, if it works. I'm ready. I'm a country boy, and I'm afraid that are you seeing my back there? No? Technology is amazing. Okay. Slideshow. That's our mission. And I'm not going to read it, but Larry mentioned the things that we do. One of the big things we do is we also do a lot of training to poor women. We don't deal with men because the women are the ones that have the kids. The women are the ones who care about the kids. The fathers work, but many times on Friday night, they don't make it home because of the San Miguel beer and that sort of thing, and their barcadas. So that's our foundation. I want to show you today the Help Foundation and who the faces are of the Help Foundation, the people that we work. And what do they think about? They think about basically the same thing that we think about. Where do they live? And I will show you some pictures of that. And then what do they do? And then what do we do in our projects? This is a picture of Luzon. If you notice at the top, there's 7,108 islands. Currently 109 million people, 88 dialects, separate dialects. I speak one dialect. When I go to Manila and try to speak that dialect, they tell me, speak English, because they don't understand what I'm saying. And then the land area is about the size of Arizona. It's about 800 miles from the top of Luzon to the bottom of Mindanao. And our projects are in Mindanao and in Cebu. It's kind of hard to see, but Mindanao is the kind of, I guess, pink or purple. And then Cebu is a little bitty island, kind of looks like a snake in between two other islands. So when I was there in years ago, there were 29 million people in the Philippines. Currently, there are 109 million people. So they have grown over 500%. And that's one of the problems that they have. Limited land area about the size of Arizona. Compared to the United States has grown 153%. And so you can't, the primary religion there is Catholic. And one reason you have lots of kids is because if you have 9 or 10 kids, more than likely one of them will be successful. And over there, the kids learn to support their parents. They don't have rest homes and independent living and all that kind of stuff. The parents go live with the kids. I'm trying to talk my 2-3 kids into doing the same thing, but I haven't had a lot of luck. Who are the faces? These are the people we work with. Every one of these families, one of their children, we sponsor in our education program. These are all elementary students. The average income over there is probably about $200 a month, which things are much cheaper, but it's still tough. They don't worry about what they're going to do next year, what they're going to invest in. Are we going to do Bitcoin, or are we going to go somewhere else? They worry about what they're going to get the next day for food. Where do they live? And these are 4 pictures. I wished I could expand them a little bit, but this is where they live. These are the kind of people we work with. Typhoons don't bother them too much, because the next day, if it blows the house down, they just put up another house. There's another family, a typical abode of students. The little boy on the left is the one who we sponsor in school. We make it a practice only to sponsor one child, because we have so many children that need to want to go to school. So this family here, we sponsor the little on the right. We sponsor the girl on the right. It's not the Lake family, it's the Lake family. And she doesn't have a husband and a very meager income. What do they worry about? Education, housing, health, food security, and income generation. That's the same thing we worry about. These are our projects, and we started out by sponsoring children. We sponsored 35 children in Manila, in a dump site there, which is just a really bad area. And they were all scavengers. They would go up into the dump site and get plastic bags and things, and then they would sell them. And now we've expanded tremendously. This is our headquarters now. And we built this 13 years ago. There are 3 donors that donated the money for this. Lloyd and Carol Brown Foundation donated about $150,000 for us to build this. The top is the main building, and then in the middle there, we have a training center, and on the top are our offices. And then on the bottom, if you can see, we have a goat house, a pig house, a rabbit house. By the way, we had a contest in Kansas State for the rabbit house, through a friend of mine who is a Rotary member of our E Club. She did a contest. She's a professor in architecture. And so they had 10 of her students build these and then explain why this rabbit house would work. And so I went there and picked one of and we built that same rabbit house there, and it worked. And then the one clear on the right is a little, they call it a Bahai Kubo, where we just go, it's kind of a rest area for the women that come in. Literacy, and I wish you could see this better, but we do a lot of tutoring of children in the upper left. Those are some of our college students in the upper right. I had a dear friend by the name of David Ayers, who a high school classmate who passed away 12 years ago of a heart attack. And his estate, part of his estate, he donated money for us to build a library. And we brought 3 former Peace Corps volunteers over to the Philippines, and they cataloged and built the library. And it's the best library in the province that we live in. And then the bottom picture are just some of our students that go to elementary school. We took a trip. Our E Club went over and volunteered. And so some of those are family, some aren't. The three in the front are my grandkids, though. And we had a great time. In order to understand what we do, you've got to see it. You can't, this is something, but you got to go live it. And then, you know, everybody that's over there, they want to go back. Our literacy program, we do after-school tutoring. Kids that are having trouble, we stay in close contact with the teachers, and then we tutor the children, young students in math and English, and also writing, a little bit of science. Here is our library that was built, compliments of David Ayers. Here are some of our students in elementary school. The lady in the back, and you might know Laird Beach, who is a former K-State linebacker, I think. He's now the athletic director at Memphis State or University of Memphis. That's his wife, Brandy, and it just so happened that her last name is Cooper. So we got her to come over too. We emphasize education, and we've changed just a little bit because we figured out that elementary kids could pretty much make it on their own. But the kids that are having trouble are the kids in high school and college. And so we started out with 180 some elementary students, and then junior high and high school to 300 students. But now we only have 5 elementary students. And then we have 190 some high school, and then we have 62 college students. It's pretty inexpensive. It's $150 a year to send a kid to school. Once they get to college, it's somewhere between $500 and $750. And then once, if they go to the engineering school, which we're very selective on, it costs $1,000 a year. Over 50% of our annual budget is dedicated to education. Here are our engineering students. I'm going over the 6th of November. We have a, thanks for looking at your watch. Because graduation for these young people is the 6th of November, and we will be there. And what we're going to do, because they're an island apart and it's a boat ride, and the Help Foundation is paying for the boat transportation for all of their parents to come up and see them graduate. Every one of these kids has a job. And that's the important thing about the engineering school. And they're not making 200 pesos a day. I mean, they're making decent money where they can have a family. And you ask them, what are you going to do when you get that good job? And can you guess what they say? Anybody? What? You Americano could. Exactly. Tabang sa iyong ginikanan. I help my family. And that's just the way they are. This part of the global grant that we had, I missed a slide. let me see here. Oh, the global grant, yeah. We got a global grant in 2018 for $105,000, I believe, $102,000. We educated 100 prod tech students, production technology. That's basically assembly line folks that do solid state soldering or working with food technology. If you've ever had Nissin cup of noodle soup, that's where these young people in the next slide are from. And the grant encompassed 3 islands, Mindanao, Cebu, and Bohol, guaranteed employment. And we, believe it or not, I've done six global grants, and this is the first one that I've ever gotten through the first time. Usually it takes 4 or 5 times. Okay, here are the students in the back are the professors and Rotarians. These are the kids in Prod Tech, and this is the Nissan Corporation where they are making different foods. Livelihood, that is one of our most important endeavors. However, you can't see much there, but we train how to make various foods and some accounting and how to take care of business, and it works extremely well. So what do these people do? Most of them are in the food business, because every morning you wouldn't have to go to a store, because people come around and holler for bread. You know, they say paninit, hot bread, or balut, which is the duck egg that's almost the duck's in it, but and boiled, and different vegetables. Many of them have gardens and that sort of thing. Here's a lady a famous lady. She makes baskets for us, and she makes mats. Our health project, we have one starting in November. They run for 6 months. We do one a year, and we have tremendous success. The first thing that we do is we have a meeting with the barangay or the village. Then we weigh the kids. We separate them into malnourished, undernourished, and normal. And then we feed everybody, but we concentrate on the malnourished. And we have a great success of bringing up to normal about 60%. And then those who don't come to normal, we will go back and give them milk or whatever until they do reach normal status. And this is within a radius of probably 30 to 40 kilometers. Here's a little guy eating his porridge. Here's a little Muslim girl eating her porridge. My favorite project, because I'm from the farm, is the swine project. And we started out with 3 sows, and now we have 11 sows, and it's self-sustaining. So we provide to our microcredit people a piglet for a reduced price, subsidized price, and then they raise it and sell it, and they make money. And then the money that we get for these piglets, then that takes care of some of our operational expenses. Goat project, it's not self-sustaining, and we've cut down on that tremendously. But there's the Rotary Club of Chandler Horizon. They actually got this thing started. And then we have a Temecula, California, who has provided a grant for us for goats. We drilled a water well thanks to a couple organizations. Water is always big with Rotary. We maintain it, and we provide water then free to the village that we live in, where there's about 4,000 people. Plus, we also use it for our own headquarters. Project Casaligan is our microbank. We have a procedure that we use. I don't know whether anyone has ever heard of Muhammad Yunus. He's from Bangladesh, and he wrote Banker for the Poor. The first time we started this, I was typically an American, just like you know, give it to your kids. I said, give them a loan. 6 months, they'll pay it back with 3% interest. Well, oh, sir, my kids were sick, and I get, you know, and so I was in Bangkok and met Muhammad Yunus, and he told me that he would, that I could go to one of his schools to learn how to do it. And so they had a school in the Philippines. And so I took my people there, and basically, I'm a former military guy. It's like the military. You got squads and platoons and groups of 30, and then you have 6 groups of 30 that make 180. So it worked extremely well. We have a 96% reloan rate now. And Larry said we're donating $25,000 a month. So we go through a lot of money. First thing we do a poverty map of the village. Then we have meetings with the people, and then they have to come up with their own project, and they talk to us about it. And, you know, 9 out of 10 want to do a variety store. They call it a sari store. In a small village, nine stores won't work. So then we get them involved in something else. Here's the center meeting. Every week we go out and we have a center meeting with the people. They pay every week. That's one of the key. A 6-month loan, they pay a little bit every week. They don't wait. And the 5 people are responsible for each other. So if Susie doesn't pay, then the other 4 are responsible. And we've had a 95% return rate. This is one of our loaning centers. The guy in the middle is that handsome guy in the middle. Gosh, it looks like me. But you can tell gigante ako. I'm a giant because I'm taller than everybody. What are the faces of our operation? And this has changed. This is an old photo, but we now have 21 staff members. We have a project director, and then we have 6 loan officers, and then we have our school people. We have 2 people. We have 2 public health nurses. We have a social worker, because we want to do it right. Now, you can't see this, but these are many of the volunteers that have come over. You know, somebody mentioned Senator Marshall. Well, Roger Marshall didn't come, but he sent his son over. And we have had people from Australia, Korea, many states, and they enjoy their trip. So I'm not soliciting, but one thing that my wife and I do, because we have been fairly successful, is that, and our kids don't need it, so we are spending a lot of money on administrative costs, because I committed that every dollar that we spend, like Rotary in the foundation, there is no financial charge at all for administrative charges. My wife and I take care of those. And you can see that we have 21 states, Philippines, Korea, Australia, Kuwait, Dubai have been instrumental in supporting our mission. We're kind of worldwide with donors, but the important thing is that 50% of all of our donations come from Rotary. And that's phenomenal, you know. But I had to twist Larry Dimmock's arm a little bit, you know, to get him to donate. But thank you, Larry and Lois. So quickly, if there's any questions, I have one other thing I need to do. Does anyone have any questions for me? Yes, it's Tim Till. Yes.
Cost of education. What is the basic cost of education?
The basic what?
Cost of education. You said $1,000. I saw there's something down there, right?
No.
That's all.
That's the cost.
So there's people who said, I should have said Michael McGraw.
That's amazing, but that's the cost. In the public universities, there is not a tuition. So with the public universities, what we do is we pay for their board, lodging, fees, et cetera, and that comes up to $500 to $750 where they go to school. There is a tuition for the engineering students. So, and the same with elementary and junior high. So that basically goes from allowance for the kids so they can eat and that sort of thing. Because it is that part, the tuition is free, except if you go to a private school. But it's a deal. I kind of wish I would send my kids. So I have one other thing I want to do. This is, I believe in giving. I believe in giving. And I also go to auctions. So my people in the Philippines, I had them make some bags. And I want to kind of do a little auction here, and the money does not come to me, it goes back to your Rotary Club. So whoever buys these things, just go over and pay up March. Yeah. Pay up March. So the first one I have is it's purple. So it's gotta be. Andy, come up here, pull that out. Got two thumbs. There. Thank you. Now, that's a big seller. And I'll bet you, if any of you go to the ball game on Saturday, there's only one other person that will have this, and that's Bill Snyder's wife. So I'm asking anybody, I won't do it for less than $20. It's handmade, and there's a little sticker on here that tells about the lady that made it. But is anybody interested in? All right, it's made out of strapping material or binding material. Yeah, and people love it. We've sold thousands over there. I got 20 right here. Is there anybody else? 40. I got 40. Anybody else? 45? 45? 45? Remember, you only want a case safe. That's yours, sir, for $45. And then the other one, and I kind of hesitate about this one because it isn't basketball season yet. And I really, in football, I really couldn't give these away, but in basketball, they sell for $50. So is anybody interested in a KU one? Give it to your wife or your husband.
I'll do 40.
Oh my, who said that? Do I hear 45? Work on it. That's close to your tongue.
Is it kind of like a gag gift?
A cat gift. Kind of like a shame. No, we've sold over 100 of these, all baskets, and probably about 1,000 of our other baskets. And they make them there, and it's we have 5 ladies, and that's their job. That's what they do, is make these baskets. So. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Keith, for connecting us to Rotary at work in the world. Lee, did you bring vegetables today? Lee's vegetable stand is at the back. I'll have Keith sign the book plate, and we'll donate a book today. What's the title, Larry?
Joseph had a little overcoat.
Joseph Had a Little Overcoat, signed by Keith. Don't forget to stay and help Roger with our polio project. And next week's program is Roger Eshelman on Rotary International Foundation. If you forgot to sign in, please sign out as you go. And let's stand for the 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. Have a great week.
Anybody's interested in news,